With the municipal elections coming up, the MK party is headed in one direction at a lightning pace. Let's discuss. So, as the municipal elections approach, many people have their eyes on the MK party. After all, they were the breakout party of 2024, coming from nowhere to become the third biggest party in the country. But while they seemed to have so much momentum on their side, it really appears as if their time in the limelight could be coming to a swift and brutal end. But before we get into this video, could I please remind you to subscribe to the channel? It's completely free, and all you have to do is click on the subscribe button under this video. Now let's get into it. So as we look at the MK party's progress, it seems as if they're really struggling to maintain the support they had in the 2024 election. We've seen how in many by-elections, not only are they not managing to win wards that they thought they would be able to win, particularly in strongholds such as KZN, but even when they do win wards, they seem to be winning by smaller percentages than they did in last year's general election. Now, election results aside, I think that the MK party are going to implode, where they basically get destroyed from within. And we already are seeing the cracks forming. Now, what's really interesting about the MK party's decline is that they are following in the footsteps of another prominent party that many people have probably forgotten about. But a little more on that later. Firstly, I'd like to discuss exactly how the MK party are imploding. So, as explained in this article from IOL, the MK party decided to expel former Secretary General Floyd Shivambu earlier this year. Now, as we see, the MK party confirmed the expulsion, citing serious violations of party trust and ideological misalignment. The leadership of the MK party has noted several statements and utterances by the former Secretary General, who was removed from the position recently, as MK party chairperson Nathi Nhleko explained. Nhleko said the party reviewed Shivambu's conduct and determined that he had publicly defined himself outside the ranks and ideological line of the MK party, thereby breaching the trust placed in him. And so we already see how if somebody doesn't toe the line, then all of a sudden they are no longer permitted to be part of the MK party. And unfortunately for the MK party, their internal drama didn't end there. Just a few days ago, we saw how Jacob Zuma's very own daughter, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, resigned from the MK party. So, as this Mail and Guardian article explains, MK party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla has resigned from parliament and all party activities amid allegations that she falsely recruited 17 South Africans to join the Russian army in the war against Ukraine. So this was quite a massive story in the last few days in the media, and it explains here that MK party head of presidency Magasela Mzobe said the party did not force Zuma Sambudla to resign, she volunteered to do so. She submitted a resignation today because she could not do so without taking the leadership into confidence and getting permission. As far as we know, the resignation had nothing to do with an admission of guilt or the organization finding her guilty. It is her as a disciplined member of MK and a leader realizing that there is a matter the country needs to resolve by returning those young people safely home. Now, of course, these words are pretty much keeping up appearances. Whether or not the MK is a disciplined party is up for debate. I'm sure many of you might agree or disagree with this statement, but ultimately it's just another casualty in a long line of resignations or dismissals from the party. And of course, unlike the other dismissals, this is Jacob Zuma's very own daughter, someone who many have touted as being the natural successor to Zuma in the MK party. And so this on its own is a massive warning sign for the party as well as its survival. Funnily enough, this sees the MK party draw some incredibly strong parallels with another party from back in the day, COPE, the Congress of the People. And here's why. So Cope burst onto the scene in the 2009 election, splintering off from the ANC. And while they did incredibly well in their first election, they very soon deteriorated due to similar internal scuffles. So as we see in this article, former Cope members Onkgopotse, JJ Tabane and Philip Dexter explained why the party fell apart the way that it did. Now, for the interest of time, I'm not going to go through the entire piece, but something that's important to note here is that the feud between Mbazima Shilowa and Mosua Lekota has completely destroyed what at one point looked like a serious political contender. So as the article explains, it was just after the elective conference in 2010. Shilowa's people had managed to insert themselves into the accreditation process for the conference and had managed to disrupt the process so much that Lekota, who was the original founder of the party, and his people threatened to boycott the whole thing. Realizing that Shilowa had managed to get his own delegates in and had kept out Lekota's, the former ANC chairman then boycotted the conference, leaving the former premier of Gauteng to be elected alone to the position of Cope president. And if we look at their election results, we see that this kind of internal factionalization destroyed the party. In 2009, when Cope first competed in an election, they amassed over 1.3 million votes, or 7.42% of the voter share. If we look at the municipal elections just 2 years later, however, their vote share fell to 570,698 votes, or just 2.1%, and they completely capitulated from there. Going back to the national picture, we see how in 2014 they had just over 123,000 votes, or less than 1% of the vote, at 0.67%. And then, of course, in the 2024 election, it was the first time ever that Cope failed to get into parliament, winning absolutely no seats. And so, yes, the MK party is a lot stronger than what Cope was initially, even though Cope did do very well on their own accord. But as we've seen, internal scuffles are never healthy for a political party. And so sure, the MK party might do well in the upcoming elections. They might even do well in 2029. But what is certain is that if they do not stop with their internal feuds and this constant reshuffling of their leadership, they will be resigned to the exact same fate, which is an inevitable doom. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more content. Until next time, I'm Matthew Cohen, and this is the Power Pod.